Retail workers, what are some brain-melting interactions you've had with customers?
Back when I worked produce in a mid-sized grocery store, I used to spend most of my shift restocking bananas. One day, a woman walked up holding a single banana. She asked if she could get a discount because it had a brown spot. I told her it's sold by weight, so no. She sighed loudly like I ruined her day, and then, for reasons known only to her, walked to aisle 7 and left the banana next to the cereal. She made sure I saw her do it. I guess that was her revenge.
A couple years ago, I worked night shift at a 24-hour supermarket. Around 2 a.m., I was stocking shelves near the cleaning aisle. A guy ran up, full panic in his eyes, and asked where the restroom was. I pointed toward the sign. He ran halfway there, then doubled back and shouted, "Is it clean?" I said, "I think so." He shouted, "You think?" and sprinted like he was defusing a bomb. 10 minutes later, someone told me he used the sink. I just kept stocking bleach.
Last winter, I worked at a small chain grocery store, mostly in dairy. It was 5 minutes before closing, lights already dimmed. A woman rushed in, out of breath, yelling, "Where's the fancy cheese?" "The triangle ones." I told her we'd close the specialty case for cleaning. She snapped, "If you were a real employee, you'd open it for me." I said, "If you were a real customer, you'd be here before 9:59. She left a bad Google review. My manager read it out loud the next morning and laughed. Best shift of the month.
Back when I worked in a big box store, I was assigned to the personal care aisle. One afternoon, this guy picked up a bottle of hand lotion, opened it, used it, and then put it back on the shelf. I said, "Sir, you can't do that." He looked confused and said, "Why?" "It's just a tester." We didn't have testers. He tried to argue it was common sense. Corporate didn't agree. Neither did the cops.
I was a cashier during summer break in college. Lady comes up with 6 bottles of juice. She says, "These are 3 for $5. I scan them. It comes to $10. She flips out. "No, it should be $5 total. They're 3 for $5. I explain. "Yes, Rahot. But you got 6. She stares at me like I just insulted her entire family. Then she says, "You people always try to scam us with your math tricks." I never felt more powerful as a minimum wage wizard.
One Sunday, I worked deli right next to the hot food section. Around noon, a guy stormed in looking for rotisserie chicken. We were out. He asked when more would be ready. I said, "About 45 minutes. He stared at me and said, "Do you know how inconvenient that is for my lunch schedule?" Then just walked away angrily like I ruined his marriage. Came back an hour later. Bought 2. Didn't say a word.
Worked evenings in a small-town supermarket. This one lady came in at least twice a week, always mad. One time she yelled at me because the store had too many kinds of salt. "I just want normal salt," she shouted. I showed her regular table salt. She stared at it like I handed her plutonium. "Why is this one iodized? What's it hiding?" I still think about that. What was it hiding?
I once stocked hygiene products. A man in his 50s walked up holding body wash and bar soap. He asked, "Which one is better for spiritual cleansing?" I said, "The body wash smells like lavender?" He nodded slowly and whispered, "Lavender, the most deceptive of all scents." He bought the soap. I never saw him again.
Worked overnight stock. A woman stopped me near produce. She was holding 2 bags of carrots, one regular, one organic. She asked what the difference was. I said, "Organic just means they were grown without pesticides." She gasped. "So the other carrots have poison?" I said, "Not exactly." Too late. She dropped both bags like they burned her, stormed off yelling, "I knew it." "Ma'am, they're carrots."
A guy once came to the meat department and asked me if the steaks were from local cows. I said I wasn't sure, but I could check the label. He said, no need. I'll know. He held a steak, sniffed it deeply, and said, this is Colorado cow. I can feel it. We were in Ohio. He bought 10. Later, I checked the box. It was from New Jersey. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more strange tales.